Final 8 caliber of teams in the NCAA. Seattle U trying to get in that elite group. And here tonight is a big test for us.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups for both teams. Up first for the visiting Akron Zips. In goal is Ben Lunt, the German. Defenders from left to right, Leonard Sohn, Marco Milanese, Daniel Strachan, and Daniel Oliveira. Defending midfielders Morgan Hackworth and Abdi Mohammed. An attacking midfield trio of Colin Biros, Marco Micheletto, and Joe Korb. And the forward, the man who scored all 3 of the Zips goals here in 2018, is David Egbo. Taking a look on the other side of things, for the Redhawks, in goals, Josh Adachi. Defenders from left to right, Josh Castrillon, Anthony Ayala, Nathan Ani, and Thomas McCoskey. A holding midfield of Orlando Nato and Julian Avila Good. Attacking band of Gabe Ruiz, Sergio Rivas in the middle, and Noe Meza. And the forward up top is Cody Gibson. Your referees, Alejandro Mariscal. Assistant referees, Jesus Hernandez Balbos and Ben Moore. And Connor Hazelwood is the 4th official. Redhawks in all red, as it's red out night here at Championship Field. We'll be moving from left to right on your screen in the first half. The Zips in white going back the other way.
When we look at keys to this game, Akron in the second round of the NCAAs really pinned Seattle University in. They had a very, very tough time getting out of their own end. Did Seattle University play a lot like Barcelona in terms of play a heavy possession game, and when they lose the ball, they work very hard for 5 to 10 seconds to try to earn that ball back. Look for Seattle U to try to release that pressure early and not get pinned in their own end tonight.
Jared Embrick, head coach of the Zips, said he was going to have to keep his team very focused tonight. He doesn't have the same number of returners from that NCAA tournament match last year as Redhawks head coach Pete Fewing does. Redhawks know exactly what this match means to them. Akron, on the other hand, trying to rebound from a 1-0 loss at home against Pitt back on September 1st.
I apologize if there's a little technical difficulty. Some feedback coming in that they can't hear me.
Well, if we can't hear you, Arnie, we should probably just pack up the whole broadcast and head home. Without you, the show does not go. Ayala sends a long ball toward midfield.
Get our technical team on this, make sure.
Ball comes near side. And is bound for the goal line. And Arnie, of course, one of the other major storylines, both these clubs missing talented youngsters. Seattle Redhawks without Declan McGlynn today. And the Zips are without Carlo Rotaccio. Both of them are in Florida with the U.S. men's national team U19s.
Yeah, I think, you expect that from Akron, certainly. It's been a national champion 3 years ago, the likes of Steve Zakawani, I believe Darlington Nagby coming through the program. Some really excellent MLS talent flowing through Akron over the years, formerly coached by Caleb Porter, who ran the Portland Timbers. So certainly a big-time program. Seattle U, to have that mention, I think it's a big deal for Seattle University, and a testament to the coaching staff and the program to be able to recruit that type of talent to the program. Certainly, McGlynn will be missed. Very, very dynamic in his first couple of games at home from what we're able to see for a freshman. Just very, very shifty, dynamic, pacey, number of shots on goal. But nonetheless, the combination of Gabe Ruiz and Neto, Noe Meza should be able to fill the void.
Ball in from Biros toward Egbo. Cleared by McCoskey. Only as far as Leonard Sohn. And the Zips win a throw-in on the far side.
Strength of the Seattle U team, certainly defensively, led by center backs Nathan Ani and Ayala. Ayala suffered a gruesome injury in the last 2 minutes of a game against Akron, a broken leg and a very, very hard tackle. I certainly think there's no ill will there, but nonetheless, it's got to be weighing heavily on his mind, and I think a win would taste pretty good to Ayala here tonight.
As a player, how do you try to banish the memory of an incident like that, knowing that you have to keep your head screwed on real tight against a talented Akron attack for 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's tough. It's, can't get emotional about it. Stick to the game plan and, try to block it out. And I think these collegiates, especially the Division I players anymore, they act more like professionals than anything else, and certainly they're coming into the game with that mindset.
Alejandro Mariscal managed to play advantage there. Redhawks take an early free kick. Lofted ball. Saw Noe Meza just losing his footing there.
The guys are saying I'm coming in quiet.
Meza.
Apologies, working through the technical difficulties here. Hopefully getting it sorted out. Thanks for your continued text to help us hone in our broadcast here tonight. Kevin Hauk, Jeremy Brown, Matt Potter, George Zarnowski, some of the guys I know are listening. Appreciate the support from the mid to late 90s, Seattle University.
Well, it was one of the interesting things talking to Jared Embrick about as well, is that both these teams, there's a lot of real similarities between these programs in that they have great alumni support. Obviously, there's a ton of alumni in the stands tonight. There's a turnover to Egbo. Egbo pressing ahead here. Sliding challenge from Nathan Ani. He's given away a free kick. He went to clear the ball. Immediately offers an apology to the referee. Says, I wasn't trying to delay the restart of play there. I thought that you hadn't blown for that foul.
Well, we certainly know from Nathan Ani, he's critical to the Seattle University squad this year, senior leader. Preseason Herman Award winner candidate. Red carded 20 minutes into the game at New Mexico, would certainly change the complexion of that game. We need him on the field, and hopefully cooler heads will prevail. Fortunate that he did not get a yellow card there.
Biros and Egbo, the striker, both over the ball. It's Biros toward goal and misses the left post.
I'm talking to Coach Fewing today. Talked a little bit about keys to the game. Akron, a very heavy possession team. When they lose the ball, they like to really press for that first 5 to 10 seconds, try to win the ball back. Seattle U trying to counter to release that pressure as early as possible. A lesson learned the hard way last year. He felt like Sergio Rivas was really primed to have a breakout game here tonight, and also Nathan Ani on dead balls. They felt like it was a big-time advantage. So look for those two keys as Seattle University tries to work their way into the game.
Ball coming through here. Gabe Ruiz giving chase. Lifted away as far as Rivas. Meza. Rivas pressing through. Mukoski trying to go for the overlap. He's well covered. And Rivas just eaten up by the Zips defense there.
Back to you, Cody. On you now.
Egbo dancing around, gets a couple guys to go. Here's Abdi Mohammed. Egbo takes back over. Egbo charging in. Referee waves him back to his feet. Still Biros on the far side. Appeals for handball, and it's given.
Coming to you, Cody. Oh, not yet.
One thing is clear is Egbo is a big-time player. I remember when Zardis stepped on the field for Cal State Bakersfield and played against Seattle University here. I think he scored 5 goals and was dancing through the Seattle University defense. Egbo had that look there on that run. You're going to have to keep a close eye on him throughout this game.
Egbo, 6'1", the sophomore out of Enugu, Nigeria. One of a couple internationals on this roster. But just to circle back on that thought about alumni contribution, there's already a couple Akron alumni that I know in the house. Nick Hines, who plays for the USL Seattle Sounders 2 down in Tacoma. Steve Zakuani, I think, said he cannot be here tonight, but he'll probably be at their match against Washington this weekend. And Jared Embrick told me that a bunch of alumni from the greater western Washington and Oregon area were making the drive up to watch one or both of these matches this weekend.
I think UW and Seattle U have paired up nicely to get big-time programs into the city and play some really impactful preseason games, which is what you want. Test yourself for that postseason.
Stay ahead of the ball.
Very, very. I think the opponents have found it's a very difficult place to come play for both, at University of Washington and Seattle U. Not a lot of success for teams coming in here.
Saw Noe Meza losing his footing as he chased that ball down. Second time tonight he's had a tough time getting a hold of the grass, and for whatever reason so far early in the playing surface has looked pretty good, but some guys have just had some trouble staying on their feet.
Yeah, we've seen that. We saw that last weekend. We're seeing it again. I don't quite know what to say about it. I know it's frustrating the coaching staff and the footwear. I brought it up there last week, and guys gave me a tough time about it, but it's changed a lot, and I can't really speak to it because I don't know.
Cody, get a little tighter if you can.
Ruiz, Meza moving ahead of him. Back heels it to Rivas. Rivas going for goal, and that's tipped wide by Lount. Ben Lount using every inch of his 6'6" frame as the German tips aside a wicked-looking shot from Sergio Rivas here in the 10th minute.
That's what you're going to need, a little creativity, a nice little back heel. I don't think anyone suspected that Rivas was going to fire away from 30 yards out, but we had a great look at that. That thing was going into the upper V.
All right, Cody,
Great save by Akron.
Rivas stand on the front foot, picking out Nathan Ani. Egbo drops in. Rivas now skies the second effort. That ball was served in by Orlando Nato. Forgive the misidentification.
And Rivas so far no goals on the season. Was unlucky this weekend to have a ball go off the very, it was a round post and it bounces straight back. It defied physics. But Rivas is your senior leader on this team. Great start by Rivas.
Yeah, it's a definite reality that the Red Hawks offense runs through number 10. There he is right there, chipping a ball toward Meza. Oh, it's cut away by Milanese.
One thing that's clear is the Seattle University midfield has a ton of chemistry. The way they're able to knock that ball around Avila Good, Meza, Rivas.
Gibson wants the ball over the top. Meza gives chase, and Lount will collect.
And NATO have been outstanding so far this year. NATO very well liked by the S2. I think you probably are aware of that. Wade Weber commented how they love his demeanor on the field and maturity on the field. And I know Meza and Rivas and those guys went back down to New Mexico and played PDL ball down there and formed a good bond. And I think great experience for everyone involved.
Rivas, a spin, going at Meza. Foot race with Sohn, and Sohn will concede the throw-in.
And sometimes we see, guys that score goals, and which we saw from Neto and Meza on the match against Santa Barbara on Sunday. The confidence just seemed to be lifted. There's a lot of competition for these spots and for playing time. They know that. And just a whole nother level of freedom coming out of these guys, which was great to see.
Egbo managed to nick that one around Ani. Ani gets him on the recovery. The Red Hawks win the throw-in.
The rain's starting to fall here at Seattle University. I think a good sign. Although I don't think it's rained a drop this summer. Maybe it hasn't, but typically, players that are used to playing here at Seattle U know how to play in the rain, know what it's like to play on this slick pitch, and perhaps that could be a little advantage for Seattle U tonight.
Sohn gets up to Egbo. Abdi Mohammed. Korb wants it on the far side. Korb has it. Overlap to Overa. Overa just has it fan off his foot awkwardly. One back by Strachan. Couple guys tangle up on the ball on the far side. That ball's still in play, and now it's out.
We see Cody Gibson there. Has to work hard as that lone forward, lone striker. The coaching staff really loves his energy and his ability to really just be a menace to that back line, running by guys and being chippy and all of that. They say that he cannot go forever, right? Just given the work rate that he's able to give, and that's where you're excited to get a guy like Hamas Ritchie.
Nathanani trying to pick out Rivas there. Headed away by Milanese, the Italian center back.
But my initial observation from this game so far is, Seattle University in the tournament game last winter was Akron. Seattle University was on its heels the whole game. It had a very, very difficult time getting out of the half. So far, it's been so much more even, which is certainly a good sign. Possibly a little intimidation factor last year. I'm not seeing that this year.
McCoskey picks off the careless giveaway by Sohn. Far side to Korb. And one away by Ruiz, who's dropped back into defense.
Camera 2 coming at you right now, on you.
Avila good. Rivas. Meza. Tearing up the open field. This ball coming through for Cody Gibson. Gibson toward goal, and will miss wide of the left post. Rain starting to come down with abandon now.
That's what you love about Gibson. He gives you that, not a big guy, not a true hold-up forward, but he has pace, has the ability to get in behind. I think that was a really, really strong opportunity for Seattle U. Just snuck by that far post there. But great ball by Rivas. Good attempt by Gibson.
15 minutes gone. A half hour to play here in the first half. That ball went away. They're trying to go quick to Egbo.
I got to tell you, Egbo makes me nervous. Got that look about him.
McCoskey ahead for Rivas. Draws Milanese. Avila good. Back wide for Rivas. Rivas, low ball in, spilled by Lowndes at the back post. And smashed over the byline, out for another corner. Redhawks player wound up in the net. That was Cody Gibson, who was hoping that Lount might leave that just a little bit more flush.
Yeah, wonderful stuff. Great dangerous ball into the area there. Ball pinging around. Unfortunate that Seattle U couldn't get a foot on that and redirect it toward goal.
Cross in, tipped wide by Lount once more. And astonishingly cleared away off the line by Sohn.
So Pete talked about the advantage that he thought they had aerially, especially with Ani through the box. Akron not a huge team. We saw a Santa Barbara team that was enormous. This team was much like teams like Air Force, which we'll see, in a Utah Valley, which we'll see. Akron a little smaller in stature, and they felt like Ani provided value there in the air, and I don't know how that ball didn't go in the net.
Well, if you were hoping for dignified bouts of possession and clean touches on the ball, I have bad news. The rainfall's reached torrential levels here at Championship Field. This one might turn quickly into a bit of a rugby match.
I don't know if this was expected. Didn't see this on the radar.
I think rain was in the forecast. I don't think this was in the forecast. Clearance blocked. Falls from Meza. Dispossessed by Sohn. Egbo lets that ride. And McCoskey resets to Adachi.
Some of the viewers that are tuning in here tonight, Andrew, are also commenting on Egbo about being tough to handle. I think that's going to be a key. Let's call that a key to the match. Keeping Egbo contained.
McCoskey, Canadian at the Toronto FC Academy, cuts that ball up to Rivas. Now looking to get it back, he does. Past an outstretched Biros. Gibson. Impossibly, the rainfall just got harder. And Gibson commits a foul in a forward area.
Yeah, but if he beats that guy, then you still got to be ahead of it.
Yeah, good thing we're indoors, huh?
I will admit, this is one of those times where you certainly are grateful to have the covered press box. Well, soccer is a game played in the elements, but it's not a game that's broadcast in them.
There you go.
Rivas hoping to link up with Meza. Nathan Ani. Pushing far side for Gabe Ruiz.
Okay, camera 2.
Ruiz stood up by Overa.
Ruiz in a similar spot where he scored that goal against University of Washington and put him through to the second round of play. Akron cut in nicely and found the upper V in a very, very dramatic golden goal situation. Unfortunately, just stood up there by Akron. Maybe they saw that. Maybe they saw the tape, looking for tendencies. I wouldn't put it past these collegiate programs these days. Probably a lot more video being done, a lot more evaluation of tendencies and so forth.
Part of that definitely has to just come out of the availability, thanks to the proliferation of video nowadays. Factors into all sorts of training habits. Redhawks themselves certainly kind of running their own sports science institute here with their athletics programs. A lot of data being tracked that I'm sure was not in your day, Arnie.
No, absolutely not. I ran into a former player last night at the soccer field. My kid was practicing, and Alex Chersky was coaching, one of the better forwards to ever play at Seattle U. And he was joking with my kid that I played in the pre-internet days, so not a lot of availability. I told him I had some VHS. Go back and figure out a way to play it. It might be available.
Switch comes near side for Son. Here's Hackworth. Abdi Mohammed. Milanese. Wants Korb.
And I got to say, I didn't see this weather. I did not see this coming. It was a pleasant day all day today. Kind of 70 degrees, a little bit of sun. Where did this come from?
Well, I'm sure the women's program that had a match kick off at 4:30 and didn't see a drop of rain is certainly thankful that they got the primary time slot today.
I think for us, though, we always felt like the rain, that is Seattle. That defines Seattle, so that should be an advantage for us.
Biros, it's a low ball in and shuffled away. You can see even there it kind of looked like Biros didn't get the connection he wanted as he was taking his run up to the set piece. And the ball over the top.
My final comment on the rain is that, you got Akron. They're huddled in their little space where Seattle U is just taking it. All the players are out in the open, just in the elements. Doesn't bother them. Looking for good omens, I guess.
Biros wants a ball over the top.
And what we see so often in these games, first 10, 15 minutes of game, high energy. This game has really settled into a nice little rhythm here.
Noe Meza. Rivas. Sounded like a bit of an inadvertent whistle there. McCoskey. Quick cross blocked by Son.
McCroskey's a guy Coach Fewing loves. Transfer from St. John's. Toronto FC Academy product. Asking him how he arrived at Seattle U. I was so curious. There's a lot of transfers on both Akron. There's a lot on Seattle U as well. And kind of the word about Seattle U is starting to spread out there. And McCroskey just felt like St. John's wasn't the place for him any longer, and knew a couple guys on the Seattle U team. Made a call, and Seattle U, during the correct window, was able to evaluate him and said, come on out. But we're seeing so many academy kids, be it.
Throw heaved in, cut back toward Avila, good. Floated back to Meza. Ani trying to square in across. He wins a corner.
Be it Sounders Academy, Houston Dynamo Academy, Toronto FC, Whitecaps, you name it. That's the way that's going. The level of play is so high here. Seattle University. All right. Got a little weather. A little weather forecast coming through.
The back post. Nathan Donnie's there! And it's wide to the right post. Sent back across the face of goal. And out for another corner. Heads up play by Nato.
Big time forecast by Coach Fewing. Nathan Ani looming large on 2 attempts right now. I think corner kicks, dead balls, cross is going to be very, very dangerous for CLU through the night.
Header from Rivas. That one's right at Lount. Arnie, certainly the conditions have to make all these corners way more dangerous for these keepers. Your gloves are slick. The ball's going to roll in weird directions. Is there any way to account for that?
Makes a difference. Yeah, it's I think experience on this field matters. It's quicker than most fields. The grass is very, very tightly mowed. Sometimes it was almost to that point where it's like a putting green and almost unplayable. So certainly experience matters there. Call it a skill check, Andrew. This is going to be a skill check for all the guys here. That ball's going to be coming in hot on almost every pass, and a driven ball coming through that skips off the grass. But for me, I remember playing, my brother played against a team in our league. He was a goalkeeper, and he always felt like this field here gave us a huge advantage because it played so much quicker, and when it rained, it was even that much quicker.
Milanese working it to the near sideline. Biros goes down. He's drawn a free kick. 25 minutes played here in the first half. Zips restart with the ball back to Strachan. Pushed along for Mohammed, and he can't keep it in.
Kind of a familiar sight on the scoreboard. 6 shots for Seattle University, 1 for Akron. No doubt possession's been in Seattle University's favor. I think that's a great sign. Coming to this match fearless against Akron, which is a Final Four opponent last year. Certainly lost a number of guys, but so did CLU.
Turned over to Mohammed, straight up the middle to Egbo. Egbo gets a touch of this sliding challenge from Ayala, disrupts the run, but Egbo's still on it, lays it off. Micheletto's fired, and he scored. He puts the visitors on top in the 27th minute. And Marco Micheletto just picking up that ball from Egbo, using that big frame to hold up play. And Micheletto had a clean run at that, Arnie.
Yeah, he absolutely did. Picked his spot nicely. Certainly that wet grass, he put that thing right on the ground and tucked it in the lower right corner. Golly, it was just singing Seattle University's praises about possession, shots on goal, all that stuff, but the counterattack ability from Akron struck ever so quickly. Seattle University is going to need to respond here. And Egbo did well to shrug off that tackle from Ayala.
First goal of the year for Marco Micheletto, senior out of Reading, England.
You don't love it when your defenders go to ground. Ayala's a guy that's steady. You like your defenders to go down in desperation. Perhaps that drew Ayala out of position and left a runner in a lane wide open. But well finished by Akron.
Noe Meza. Really good. Ruiz trying to work it. Son is there. He cuts it out.
I was talking about with good teams, very opportunistic. Seattle University certainly had a couple good opportunities. Not able to finish. Akron gets their opportunity, and they're able to finish. That's a mark of a class program.
Gibson swings in across. Son gets to it, heads it beyond Ruiz.
Seattle U tends to have a lot of shots on goal, tends to outnumber its opponent in shots both on goal and on, in the vicinity, let's say. But at the end of the day, the only one that counts is the scoreboard.
Gibson in with the shoulder challenge, gives away the free kick.
think high hopes for Seattle U coming into this one with Akron being ranked, I think, as high as 14 in some polls. And get back right in the rankings with two really good wins against Santa Barbara and Cal Poly this weekend after that stumble against New Mexico.
Noe Meza takes that ball out of the air. Can he stay on it? Ahead for Gibson, the flag up for offside.
A really nice environment here, looking up and down the stands. You got kind of standing room only here. School not in session yet. I think not for probably a couple more weeks, huh?
I believe so, yeah. It's been a while since I had to be plugged into the student side of any of these broadcasts.
But nonetheless, still a great community support. And
well, a couple of contacts there from both sides, none of them called, and now we'll see our first substitution of the match. In comes Hamish Ritchie. For Cody Gibson, they're going to hold up, not allow him in just yet. Well, they will let Ritchie in. And Ritchie, a player who has quickly won you over, Arnie.
Yeah, no, I like him. He's gives you a little different look up top. Gibson's all, speed, and he's low center of gravity, scrappy. Hamish Ritchie is a bigger target player. Comes from Hartwick. He was a freshman of the year in the Sun Belt and all-league player for the Sun Belt. Hartwick with a rich tradition in Division I soccer, producing a lot of good players over the years. And they moved their soccer program from Division I to Division III, which led Hamish to look out for a place to transfer.
Mikoski going toward Rivas, picked wide by Milanese. Nicoletto to Overa.
And look for now, you're looking for Hamish to really pair with Rivas.
Really good, trying to chip it right at Sergio Rivas. Gabe Ruiz just in the way. Egbo keeps that ball in play on the near touchline. Mikoski sliding in, wins the ball. And now a free kick given.
I actually saw that, and I don't think he touched him. I literally don't think he touched him. I mean, that was literally right in front of us.
Well, if he did get him, it might have been the trail leg following through. The front leg was all ball. Egbo down. In obvious discomfort. And they're going to wave on the trainers.
Go to the trainer here that's coming in. You're good right there. And on now, Cody.
And with the trainers comes a stoppage in the clock.
And I'm back at 1. Who was it that did that?
Getting a lot of good feedback on my pre-internet comments.
Egbo back to his feet to a round of applause.
That's an interesting one for me. Certainly don't want to comment on guys' injuries and so forth, but that was literally right in front of us. Did not look like Seattle University player caught him. But nonetheless, we'll see. We'll see what happens when he comes back on.
Ivan Nikolic, the first year out of Toronto, Ontario, seems to have checked in for Egbo. And Mikoski booked for his trouble.
And Coach Fewing's been pretty quick to, when yellow cards are issues, given these, kind of loose substitution rules in collegiate soccer, been quick to pull guys with red cards, with yellow cards. Certainly options back there. They like Acton, who filled in nicely for Nathan Ani, but they also like Ivory Randall. Certainly have the opportunity to switch Castrolon, who's not naturally left-footed, from the left to the right, and slide in Ivory Randall, that left fullback. So a lot of depth here on Seattle University. We'll see how this thing plays out.
Ball out wide for the Zips. They're driving toward goal. It's overhit and out for a goal kick. 2 more subs for the Red Hawks. Hal Uderitz and Harrison Kurtz both on for Seattle University. Harrison Kurtz, a junior, transfer out of Clemson and a former member of the Sounders Academy.
Yeah, Coach Fewing fired up. This is the first time we've seen him, local product. Coach Fewing and I talked today a lot about guys. There's a number of guys that have been Sounder Academy or Crossfire Academy kids, local kids that have gone off to other places, and then for whatever reason, right? Might be homesick or might not be playing as much as they want or want a different experience, but certainly been the beneficiary of some guys wanting to return home. And I know Coach was excited that he's able to play tonight and see what he has to bring. And Hal Uderitz, a big-time recruit for Seattle U as well. A famous dad, played for UNLV and Kansas City Wizards. Kind of a second-generation player, as we like to say.
Ball floated along for Korb. Cutting back inside against Castrillon. Space for a cross. Deflected by Nato. And out for a corner.
One thing I noticed in the tournament game as well as tonight, as Akron has pushed into the offensive half, their one-on-one ability is good. It's, they're fearless taking guys on. Really, really can create problems for the Seattle University defense.
Lofted ball in, towering header from Avila Good. Comes back to Korb. Tries to get by Kurtz. He gets by him. The ball does not.
Really good defending out of Kurtz.
Rivas. Back for Ani. McCoskey going to try to open things up a little bit. Here's Mohammed. He and McCoskey go in, and the Zips win the ball. Headed down by Uderitz. Kurtz. Castrillon.
Cody, you good down there?
And back out of play.
We don't mention Castrillon a ton. He's Coach Fewing really likes him. Interestingly enough, one of the things he liked about him is his gait. Coach Fewing brought up his gait. The way he runs. He's very athletic. Good two-footed player, right-footed naturally, but playing on the left defense. Kind of like Ayala in a lot of ways, right? We don't mention his name because he always seems to be in the right place, right time.
Nikolic, back for Mohammed. Nicoletto. Overa.
What we're seeing here is a little bit of a change from Seattle U, whereas they had one up top early on. They've moved Rivas into a kind of a striking pair along with Hamish Ritchie. Try to put a little bit more pressure on this back three from Akron.
Meza, free kick drawn by the Redhawks.
I don't think he was going to call that. Heard the heard the Red Hawk crowd chanting there.
Stay on player. Back to one.
Ani looking for a big ball up toward Richie. Richie plays that with his shoulder. Rivas loses his footing. And McCoskey will take the throw.
It's okay. More. All the way.
McCoskey toward Richie. Both players down after that ball.
Camera two,
As Richie and an Akron player
wide like that.
collided heavily. And the Akron player is down holding his knee.
That's a good thing there's not video replay on that one. Richie was a little bit late and high on that one.
So, and then go back to the other side.
Looked innocent enough, but
All the way against.
pretty nasty tackle there.
It's Marco Milanese, the center back out of Isernia, Italy. And it looks like Izana Kase is set to check in for the Zips. 6'2" redshirt senior out of Eritrea. He checks in for Korb. And I believe the referee has booked Hamish Ritchie as well. Booked with just under 8 to go here in the first half.
Yeah, I think the number 4 for Akron, showed him the cleat marks in his thigh. Probably enough to convince the referee to at least issue a yellow. It was
Coming back to camera one.
I don't think there was any intent there, but nonetheless he caught him and probably fair, to be honest with you.
Coming at you now, camera two.
Well, the only issue is that Alejandro Mariscal did not whistle for a free kick at first.
He's got to move back.
Take a free kick in the defensive end any day.
Get tight on him, please. Alright, stay on player. Back to one.
And I'm hearing word now that Richie was not issued a card. So as you said, perhaps the forward a bit lucky.
Certainly Akron settled in a little bit better rhythm here. Really nicely done by Ani, holding it to his forward off there.
Loud. Headed up toward Meza.
Alright, camera two coming at you. On you. Stay right. It's gonna.
Really good going through. McCoskey making the run. Early cross, it's a cutback ball. Nicoletto is there.
Back to one.
Really good action by Seattle U. We talk about when they're playing well, good possession in the midfield, allowing their wing backs to get forward. McCroskey, great run. Unfortunately, he's unable to pick a forward out there for a finish. But certainly a good sign out of the Seattle University midfield. Got to reestablish possession here. Easier said than done in these conditions.
Oh, now it's coming to him. On you now. It's all good.
McCoskey. Up toward Richie. Quickly squared for Rivas.
But what I can see, what I can say about this is I do not remember Seattle University being out of Akron's end too often in the tournament game.
McCoskey headed toward goal. That's easy for Lund.
So from the perspective of, the evenness of the match and Seattle University showing no fear in its ability to play with a program like Akron.
Coming
that's there tonight. And I think unfortunate to be down 1-0, but nonetheless, not going to be their last opportunity of the night.
Overa has that skiff off his own man. Ayala up toward Uderitz. Here's Kase. Hackworth. Sohn, Redhawks trying to tighten the net here. Rivas and Meza got mixed up there. That ball runs out. It's a Redhawks throw-in. Rivas toward Ritchie. He pops it up. Meza gives chase. And Lunt charges out and slides underneath it.
Kind of in that critical phase, last 5 minutes of the half. Sally, you going to be pushing for that equalizer. Akron looking to extend.
Ani wins out against his man, who slips to the turf.
And what I love about Seattle University teams through the years is their work rate in the midfield is phenomenal. It's worked so hard they lose the ball to win that ball back. Certainly, you don't have your forwards walking around either. They're sprinting hard, trying to win that ball back, assisting in the midfielders' efforts. So many goals. I think we saw Gabe Ruiz pick off a ball and led to the first goal against Santa Barbara. That high pressure always serves Seattle University well. This isn't the biggest field in the world, also. It's more like 110 by 70. Some of these fields out there, Sounders play on a 120 by 80. It's a little tighter.
Overa slipped up of his own accord there, appears to be cramping up.
A little early to be cramping. Like our friend On Nuon. On Nuon used to cramp in the first half quite a bit. I think that's usually something for the 80th minute, isn't it?
A couple of players for Akron forced to the sideline with various ailments here in the first 45. 3:39 to play. And we restart. Rivas giving chase. Strachan is there. Concedes another throw-in.
Can you get tighter, Cody? There, yeah. Alright, Cody, now on your camera 2.
Castrillon set to throw it in.
It's going pretty far. Right there. Not too far.
Who's head in the area, appeals for handball, nothing given. Back underneath it, comes right back to Lund.
And Lunt is enormous. If you're a coach, you're probably trying to keep that thing low. Get that thing below his wingspan. Certainly, first opportunity from Ani coming off the head. That's a miraculous save, as was the one against Avila Good, against Sergio Rivas. That Rivas opportunity could have been a goal of the year candidate, but that paw came out of nowhere.
Forced into a couple saves so far against the Redhawks.
Coach Fewing talked about Adachi is going to be called on tonight, and so far hasn't had a whole lot of action, but unfortunately the action he has had, one perfectly placed strike.
Rivas poking ahead. Ritchie gives chase, and Lund, who's been active both between the posts and off his line, scarfs up another through ball.
I think Rivas very unselfish, looking for that run, looking also for Rivas to, 25 yards out, have a go. We've seen him score those before. Rivas is able to find space between the lines, between that kind of that midfield line and that defensive line. Always a good sign for CLU when he's able to find space. Rivas, a guy that had 8 goals, 8 assists last year.
Really good. Headed comes wide, and the flag up for offside against Hal Uderitz.
A couple of the guys have been calling out Julian Avila Good, Whitecaps Academy kid. I don't know how that occurred, being from, I think he's from Winnipeg, which I don't think is anywhere close to Whitecaps, but nonetheless, very, very good player. He's kind of our Ozzie Alonso, covers a ton of ground, work rate is phenomenal, ability to score goals. Big-time leader. Coach Fewing says he's a very quirky kid, real funny. Won't go into some of the things he said about Julia Avila Good, but nonetheless, guys love him. And do you say Canadians have a different sense of humor? I don't know.
I'm not entirely certain.
I don't know either.
Can't say.
Did you grow up in Minnesota, or did you?
I grew up in Ballard.
You grew up in Ballard?
But you
just went to school for.
Yeah,
okay.
It's like South Canada.
Got
a
it.
little bit.
Yeah.
Well, a bit of an interesting there as Alejandro Mariscal yells at a player to pay attention and then signals to stop the clock since he himself had forgotten to do so. 8 seconds left. And now they'll pump it up to 15 seconds. This one comes through. Rivas lets fly. Near post. He scores! Sergio Rivas, in the dying seconds of the first half, has pulled things level. With just 15 seconds to go, a long ball came through, and he beats Lund to the near post. We're level at 1.
And why does it always seem to happen in a collegiate game? There always seems to be a strike on goal in the last, 10 seconds of a half or a game. Unbelievable turn of events here. I'm going to have to rethink my post-half game comments and retool based on that goal.
Take another look at it here. Nathan Ani heaves that ball forward. Gets flicked on. And Rivas, the right man in the right place on the reception from Hal Uderitz. And like you said, against a big goalie with a big wingspan, go low and on the ground. He hit it with pace, and we're level with just 10 seconds till the break.
Just like they worked on in practice, the 40-yard heave. It's so interesting about soccer. You work on all this nice and tidy stuff, and then you get a kind of a scrappy goal. But, Hal Uderitz's size, he's 6'2", 6'3", in the midfield. Flicks that ball on. Rivas doesn't give up on it. And here we are, level. Feeling much better about ourselves going into the second half.
Well, the whistle goes for halftime. And the Redhawks, in unconventional fashion, smash in a goal. And Arnie, what a way for Sergio Rivas to get on the board for the first time in 2018.
Absolutely. We're calling.
I just try to encourage the boys to keep on going at it and just trust the process and trust, Jared and what he's doing, and we'll get the result.
You had a chance to kind of train with some of the Redhawks guys, with them coming down to be extra bodies for Sounders 2 practices. What have you kind of learned about the Redhawks programs from those guys?
The Redhawks program, based on when we played them last year and the year before, my freshman year, they definitely improved a lot. Some of the guys that, trained with us, like, for example, Orlando, and I know Harrison from the academy, and the list goes on. Those guys have, some good quality. And, just reminiscing on when I used to play with them, and, it's good to see both my old school, those guys that I used to play with out here.
Making the jump from the college game to the professional game, you're now in the American Second Division. What's been the biggest transition for you? I know you've spent some time in the USL while you were still with the academy.
The biggest transition, in my opinion, is just speed of play, just thinking fast on what your next option is going to be. Physically wise, the USL and college is, identical in a way. It's a different kind of running, but just mentally wise, it's the only change for me.
As you're looking at the rain pouring down, do you guys play many games like this back in Ohio, or is this kind of foreign territory from a weather perspective?
Yeah, it's pretty foreign. If it rains in Ohio, it pours. So, it's living here in Seattle. It's finally, I'm happy to see the rain, but I know some of the Akron guys are not too happy about it.
Slight break from our impromptu interview here, as the Redhawks have a free kick. Here's Harrison Kurtz over the ball. Kurtz drives this one in, headed away from Hamish Ritchie by Egbo, who's checked back into the match, which is a good sign for Akron Zips fans. Still on the front foot, ball across the face of goal, and Lount scarfs that up. Nick, my final question for you. Obviously, I also broadcast for Sounders 2. S2's unbeaten at home in their last 5. Yeah. How is it now that you guys are starting to turn Cheney Stadium down in Tacoma into something of a fortress?
It's about time, in my opinion. We hit some bumps in the road with certain people getting injured, and, some guys coming up from the academy and some guys coming down from the first team trying to gel and, get results. But we finally found what we're good at, and we're just trying to perfect that now, and we're getting the results that we need. And now, since we're a young team, just gain a little experience on, closing out games and not conceding certain amount of goals, and just to get more points for the next season.
All right, Nick, I'll let you enjoy the rest of the game. Thanks so much for jumping on with us here on the WAC Digital Network.
Perfect, thank you.
Long ball over the top. Head of the way on the near side. And we welcome back in now Arnie Klebrud. Arnie, sorry I had the chance to grab a current professional player and former Akron Zip and kind of pounced on a loose ball, as it were. But your thoughts on that first half as we are now a couple minutes into the second?
Yeah, it was
cut back cross here. Might fall for Ritchie. Cleared away. There's another Akron player down. That's Habdi Mohammed. They're going to stop the clock here.
Yeah, what we talked about is, kind of mingling with some of the Seattle U faithful in the tent, hiding from the rain. It was clear. I think the statements for me were, with a minute left, I was about to say I think it was a little bit unfortunate. Seattle U certainly had its share of opportunities, had possession. I think unfortunate to be down 1-0, and then kind of get that let's call it a miracle goal. I don't know. It's certainly something that was unexpected, but
there's enough to look at it here, and I think unexpected is definitely the name of the day. Just a flick on header from Uteritz and Rivas. I mean, that's a tough angle if you're already on the ball when you shoot it, but he had to hit that with his first touch.
Yeah, it's just soccer's an odd game that way, right? It was unexpected. Maybe Akron back on their heels a little bit. Don't expect a guy like Nathan Ani to be able to throw it 40 yards, but he can do it, great flick, and let's call it opportunistic and maybe just, right? I think that the game deserves to be level. I think Akron is. I think number 9, Egbo, is the most dangerous player on the field, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, no question about it. They're going to have to front whenever possible, deny that entry pass into him. He didn't score the goal, but he clearly created, holding it up against 3 guys. So, that's always going to loom large for Seattle University, and we still feel dead balls are still going to be a big opportunity for Seattle University, and look for Nathan Ani to loom large in this game.
Paul Hernandez, Spaniard, who's checked in at right back for Akron. Castrillon throwing it his direction. Mohammed. Kurtz. Rivas knocked away. Hackworth at first. Micheletto is down. He's run a free kick.
Yeah, and the buzz around the stadium is great. It's an awesome crowd. No students whatsoever, but the community's rally around this thing, and night game, awesome atmosphere here tonight. Very Seattle, quite frankly, right? Rainy night.
Zips moving up the far side of the field in the middle. Here's Mohammed dropping it off. Nearly got it back from Hackworth.
Back to one.
Milanese, who's returned after being injured in the first half. Korb. Micheletto.
Camera 2 on you now.
Mohammed wants his right foot. That redirects a couple times in traffic. McCoskey gives chase in the far end and plays it off Leonard Son for the goal kick.
You know, I think this is a really high-level game here. I mean, the technical ability is outstanding across the board, and ability, speed of play is fantastic. So much 1 and 2 touch passing, and really a good game to watch. I think you know, the first thing is very entertaining. The crowd has been entertained. They've enjoyed this game. I think the other takeaway for me is how scared Seattle University looked in that tournament game against Akron. How comfortable they look for me here tonight.
Play allowed to continue by the referee there. Uderitz forward for Ritchie. Rivas trying to link back up with Ritchie. Ritchie lifts that over Son and cleared away, I believe, by Milanese on the inside.
Yeah, that's what we tend to see rotation wide. You know, Coach Fewing will sub guys in at 30-minute mark or so, and he'll let them go into the second half and then make his changes from there. So Ritchie's going to get his 15 to 30 minutes, see how the game's going, and look for Gibson to re-enter.
Ani, another long throw past Meza. That one was on frame. Lund right in the proper position.
Yeah, absolutely dangerous. Ani can really throw that thing with his. Unfortunately, he's not available to be in the box. You know, I think fortunately, you know, if you had a guy that could target Ani, he might be in a little bit better shape, but.
Turned by Korb. Korb looking to play himself to the byline. Dachi lets it run out for a goal kick. And I can't quite pull off the Marcus Mariota passing the ball to himself. Can Nathan Ani on the long throw in?
You know, but I think when Uderitz is in the game, he can provide that target for you. Certainly a Hamish Ritchie can provide that target for you a little bit as well.
Korb drops it off for Micheletto. Rivas puts a shoulder in, wins the ball. Cleared away by Ayala. It's beyond Ritchie. Fan to the far side. Brought down by Meza. But Son gets him on the recovery.
Meza's touch took him a little bit too far inside. Looked like he had the angle. But Meza's got a lot of minutes here tonight. His confidence, you saw it skyrocket after his goal on Sunday. Amazing what a goal can do to a guy's confidence. Pride of Sunnyside, Washington.
Rivas. Drop back ball. Hamish Ritchie. Pardon me, Julian Avila Good.
Yeah, and Avila Good can provide that. You know, he has some goals in him. Look for him to have 5 to 6 goals this year coming out of midfield. You know, high motor. We've seen him with a couple opportunities, a little bit high early on in the year, but you know, Avila Good, we've seen him strike those at distance. I think you look for coaches are never disappointed when guys take shots on goals. You never know what can happen in terms of deflections and so forth.
Ball played through for Ritchie. He's onside. Hamish Ritchie, a left-footed shot that's right at Lund. Hernandez, past midfield now as Kurtz trailing. Rivas going through for Ritchie. Into space, Lund off his line. He'll get there first. Ritchie forced to jump over him as Lund smashes that ball onto 13th.
A really good goalkeeper by Lund. Initially, that looked like that Hamish Ritchie was going to be through, but great awareness by Lund to be quick off his line and clear. When you play high, you know, kind of that high defensive line, you know, goalkeepers are pushing higher and higher in order to kind of thwart that through ball. And well executed there by Akron.
Pass to Lund. See the Redhawks quickly trying to shift the field to cut out those passing options. Micheletto, he's got Egbo to his front. Comes to the near side for Korb. Korb trying to get by Castrillon and does so. Korb, far post, headed away by McCoskey. And McCoskey smashes that into midfield.
That's what they talked about. It's Akron's so good in terms of that, really quick response to a giveaway. Tactical scout for Seattle U, Nate Dallagon and the guys told him to get that ball out of trouble whenever possible and reset the defensive lines. Good example of that right there.
Rivas from Meza. For Ritchie going back in for Meza. He's drawn Strachan. Meza along for Rivas. Rivas hoping to turn here. It's disrupted well by Hernandez. And that one came off the arm of Avila Good.
Yeah, really nice action there. Great through ball to Meza. Meza, nice one-time cross to Rivas. Rivas tried to get a little tricky there, which is fine. You're looking for something creative and in the box and just didn't quite work out there. But really good action by Seattle University moving forward.
Hackworth loses his footing at midfield. Avila Good trying to go over the top. Ritchie and Milanese doing battle. Milanese expertly just altering his run to disrupt Ritchie's.
Yeah, seeing a little bit more through ball action from Seattle U. Generally try to a little bit more build up on the attack. Perhaps it's something that Coach Fewing and staff saw. Maybe they saw the opportunity for a little bit more opportunity behind that defense. Probably look for that a little bit more with a Cody Gibson versus a Hamish Ritchie, but
this one falls for Ritchie. Ritchie going for Rivas. Sergio Rivas tried to go 5-hole on Lund. Still alive. Rivas back into the middle. Ball comes away from him. He'll send it toward goal, and it's off the lowered arm of Strachan. He'll never get anything given for that.
Really, really good ball from Hamish Ritchie to a nice run from Rivas. Looked like you said, he did try to go 5-hole there. Lutz is a big target. When you probably look up there, there's not a whole lot of options. But
secondary header might come back for Rivas. Lund, another wonderful save. 14 shots he's had to face tonight. Has looked pretty stellar against most of them.
Yeah, no, this is from the eye test perspective, he's got it. This is this man has stature, as you say, right? He's about 6'5", 6'6" in there, long arms, kind of a prototype, if you will.
220, so he's not going to get bullied on set pieces. Back ahead for Rivas. Kurtz through a challenge. Ritchie, a couple defenders around him now. Ritchie has it cut away. Abdi Mohammed still working here. Fights off Castrillon.
Good team defending by Seattle U there. Castrillon stumbles a little bit, but nonetheless cuts him inside and kind of textbook, if you will. Force him toward numbers.
Milanese.
If I'm Seattle U, I just want to keep it away from Egbo.
Throw-in leads to the substitution. A pair of them for the Akron Zips. Sam Toyega, one of the players checked in at that last. Ritchie with some nifty footwork nearly managed to spring Kurtz. Noe Meza drifting wide. Tried to go square for Rivas. Ball comes behind him. Rivas recovering to it. He's swarmed. Back for McCoskey. McCoskey upended, and that will draw a free kick.
Yeah, it seemed like game by game we're seeing McCroskey really grow.
Quick restart. Low cross. Dealt with by the Zips.
McCroskey, a phenomenal athlete. Been primarily a defender. Coming into this, we've seen him get forward a couple times tonight, which they're going to expect for him. Big part of Seattle University's game. Getting those wing backs in attack.
Egbo hard in on a challenge. He's upended his man. Crowd wants a card for it, but on the whole, it seemed a pretty fair challenge and just managed to get most of the man.
Yeah, but on the flip side on that, you know, when a guy goes down like that, you know it's probably cleats up and a straight leg. It did look innocent enough from this angle, but the way he went down, you know, Avila good, tough. He's a tough character. Many of my guys, you know, he is their favorite player. He does not go down easy.
So Egbo is booked eventually in the 62nd minute. And Nathan Ane will take the free kick.
It just seems like we never call Ayala's name, never call Castrion's name. You know, these guys are steady, holding it down, allowing Ani and others to get forward. Really, really good stuff by them. Going to have their test the remainder of the game, though.
Header from Son. He's conceded another free kick.
Now this is a spot here that Orlando Neto scored a brilliant goal on Sunday afternoon. Unfortunately, he does not look to be in.
Sergio Rivas and Noe Meza.
Declan McGlynn also, you know, noted for his set piece ability. Been allowed to take a lot of them as a true freshman. Also, he's not here. We've been calling for Rivas, though, haven't we? And maybe this is his opportunity.
About 4 in the wall for Akron. Lund has set his wall. Whistle goes. It's Rivas around the corner and around the post. Managed to get that to bend all the way outside, just couldn't get it to come back in.
Yeah, I think Seattle U's always had a plethora of lefties. George Arnowski, the Caesar, comes to mind. No lefties on the field, I don't think, for Seattle U this season. Seemed like we had a few there last year as well. But Sam Langston, you know, Seattle U certainly misses him a little bit at the left back position. Got a lot of offense.
Ruiz, who's just subbed back on, along with Connor Noblat, who's in for the first time this evening. Micheletto wants that big ball up to Egbo. Sliding challenge from Ani.
That's a big-time matchup there. Probably looking at 2 future MLS guys.
And I believe that Jared Embick is going to get a talking to from referee Alejandro Mariscal here. Embick obviously unhappy with the challenge on Egbo in the first half from McCoskey. Forced Egbo's removal, but Mariscal saying there was nothing wrong with that challenge from Ani.
Interesting to see these big-time coaches come into the program. You know, certainly Santa Barbara is interesting to see. You know, we heard a lot about the Santa Barbara's coaches' comments at halftime. We could hear them in the tent. which is just adjacent to the, they have a outdoor kind of locker rooms that guys go into, and you can hear pretty much everything the coach is saying. And there were some choice words from the Santa Barbara coach. It was interesting. I won't go into details, but nonetheless, we saw a street fight in the second half, and certainly Akron, the big-time program, and maybe expect certain things and games to be called a certain way. Who knows?
Redhawks forming a bit of a scrum there on the far side of the field. Work it near side to Castrillon. Uteritz making the advanced run. Won't get rewarded with the ball. Ayala. Castrillon is wide. And Castrillon late, immediately apologetic, helping his man back to his feet. And Korb accepts his apology. Well won ball from Joey Korb.
I think those runs from Uteritz are okay once or twice a game to kind of catch your opponent by surprise, but you want him, he's your holding defender. You want him in the holding down the center of the field.
Turnover to Rivas. Immediately poked away by Toyega.
I'm looking for a little bit more from Gabe Ruiz here. He's a guy that was really expected to fill the shoes of an Alex Roldan. Got all the potential in the world. Look for him to come up big here in the second half.
Toyega quickly up to Korb. Korb going to go right at Ayala. Ayala stands firm. Rebound comes to Hernandez.
Coach Fewing talked about Ayala, that broken leg, and worked hard, physical therapy to come back. It was really a nasty one. And you got the physical side, but you also have the mental side. But Ayala showing no ill effects so far in the last 3 games that I've been able to see. Would you agree?
I tend to agree. Obviously a tough rehab protocol, but he looks to have completed it. Ball from the far side, in from Son. Egbo just over the bar. He was sniffing for his 4th goal of the season and missed by inches.
Yeah, it's when you see some of these guys that come through Seattle U and play them live, Zardes being one, there's been a couple others. You can really tell, they're a different level in terms of UConn came through here and really not a good game. Not Seattle U's finest game, but I think it was a learning experience for sure. But
Nicoletto to Hernandez on the near side. He's overhit him, and it's gone out. That'll lead to the substitution. Cody Gibson back on for Hamish Ritchie in the 67th minute.
I think Ritchie gave you some good minutes there, highlighted by a great through ball to Rivas.
It's a throw-in that never went in. He'll be allowed to retake it. Toyega displaced by Rivas. Ball hit into space. Played first by Son. Ani. Bit of volleyball now.
Great stuff by Avila Good. Nice skill. Working out of pressure. Look for a little bit more direct play out of Seattle University. Looking for Cody Gibson in behind.
Gibson turns. Hernandez quickly recovering against him. Gibson, left foot across on the ground. Falls square. Hal Uteritz was right there. This one popped straight up. Connor Noblat looking to get underneath it. Big collision in the box, and it's cleared away.
I like to say right on cue there. Cody Gibson gets sprung. Great ball to Hal Uteritz.
Now it's McCoskey to the end line. Cross in, popped up on top of the net, and it's a goal kick. I believe that was Hal Uteritz again The holding mid twice worked himself into a position where, honestly, you'd think he would have had a goal there.
Great minutes by Hal Uteritz getting forward. I thought he had a nice strike. Hard to say if it would have got through, but nonetheless, quality strike, definitely on goal. Akron nice defending to recover.
Mohamed trying to cut back against Uteritz. And he's pulled up. And I do believe Abdi Mohamed might be getting a talking to. Referee has called for the clock to stop.
And Uteritz is a guy, big time pedigree, Crossfire Academy. Really, really important recruit to Seattle University. First couple games, definitely played well, no question about it. A little bit of trouble adjusting his speed of play, but clearly here he's adjusting quite well and making a big impact. I think his first assist on the season with that flick on from Ani to Rivas. Two really nice opportunities.
Ruiz restarts with the free kick. That one's toward Lund, and he collects it straight out of the air.
So far, dead balls out of Seattle U, but left a little bit to be desired, either overhit or underhit.
Ball picked up by Rivas. Rivas going at his man, lays off to Ruiz. Gabe Ruiz to the far post, and Lund, his positioning remains excellent here in the 70th minute.
Good thinking by Ruiz. Very, very similar from that University of Washington goal in the first round of the tournament. Unfortunately, Lund had a good view of that and was able to make the save quite easily. But good thinking out of Ruiz, and nice stuff by Rivas as well to find him.
Biros possesses on the far side. Comes back to Micheletto. Rivas goes down. Played on by Gibson. Noblat. Square for Ruiz. Uteritz making the run up the left side. Korb retreating. Lifted away from him by Strachan. And Castrillon lets it run for the throw-in. Under 20 minutes to go. Arnie, the way the second half's gone, do you think we have a game winner, or is this one headed for overtime?
First question I have is, do we play overtime in the preseason?
Ball crossed in.
That I am not sure of.
We do. 2 10-minute overtime periods would be played if this match is level after 90 minutes. Of course, those are also golden goals, so plenty of dramatic finishes when you get into those 90 plus.
If you were to put me to a bet, I would bet you that it will not head to overtime.
Header there, back to Lund.
Certainly like the impact that Cody Gibson's had on the game. Always seems to up the energy level. Work rate is phenomenal by Seattle U here in the midfield, as we expect. Connor Noblat coming in the game. Maybe a little bit of magic out of Connor Noblat once again.
Really good in the space for Rivas from the left alley. Going at Hernandez, trying to get the ball by him. Manages to do so, but he can't get by him himself. Cleared as far as Uteritz. Square for Avila Good. Far side, McCoskey. McCoskey, that's a big ball. And there's no one on the end of it. Goal kick.
Yeah, McCloskey, unfortunate. Looking to drive that ball. Whip it in, as you will, or if you will.
Hernandez looking to go coast to coast here. Ruiz on his back shoulder. Pulls up, intercepted by Rivas. And his pass is overhit. Uteritz is there. Rivas turning. Ball's a little bit behind Avila Good. You can see just this wet pitch. It's kind of like playing on ice. Here's a ball over the top. Cody Gibson going to give chase, and another easy grab for Lund.
Connor Noblat as well, giving chase. Not a ton of minutes out of Connor, but A guy we saw against Cal Poly pull out a dramatic far post goal. Like Cody Gibson, brings a lot of pace. Looks to be playing kind of a right midfield type slot.
Noblat wanted to go through on the ground for Gibson. Now here's Abdi Mohammed. It's a big first touch. Ayala gets there. Lifts it down line, where it will eventually go out off of an unlucky Joe Corb. Castrillon going quickly for Ruiz. Ruiz by 2 defenders.
Zoom in with them.
Poked ahead, Connor Noblat. Noblat back across the face of goal. Back post, score! Cody Gibson!
No.
And the flag up for offside. The goal won't count.
Just as pretty as you could ever ask for. And Seattle University bench is over there, and I would think they'd be in hysterics if they felt like it was unjust, but
another look at it there. Well, I mean, very tough to tell from the camera angles available to us here at Championship Field. Referee now over to the far side talking to the assembled Seattle University Redhawks, who are up, warming up behind the assistant referee who made that call. Clock is stopped with 16:21 to play.
Any way you slice it, it was close, right? It was, what Fords are always going to argue is when the ball is hit, right? And certainly that ball came in early. Cody Gibson's fast. One might argue you deserve to get those calls at home. I don't know.
Well, we remain level, 1-1.
There's no question, though, Cody Gibson's made a big impact on this game. Coach Fewing loves that dynamic of a Hamish Ritchie and a holding player and a
awkward ball left in space. Cody Gibson slides down. This one bounces into the goal. It's rolling toward the goal line. Cleared away by Milanese off the line. The 50-50 ball between Lund and Cody Gibson nearly rolls in. And that would have been 2 very unconventional goals in one match for the Redhawks.
Was that Noblat or was that Gibson? They both look so similar in there.
Look at it here. I believe that was
Noblat.
Cody Gibson. And it was Connor Noblat. This falls for Ruiz toward goal and scored! Gabe Ruiz putting the Redhawks on top in the 75th minute. And they celebrate in front of the ecstatic home support on the near sideline. ASU level, and what a finish from Gabe Ruiz.
Now I got to see a replay on that one because I have no idea what happened as I was trying to discern if that was Connor Noblat. Gabe Ruiz is a guy we talked about earlier in the half. He's the guy that we expected to be that replacement for an Alex Roldan, if you can replace an Alex Roldan. Has the ability, 4 or 5 goals last year, and comes up huge here tonight against Akron.
It's because I was showing the other replay. The other replay.
They don't have it.
I was showing
They
the
don't
other
have it.
replay. They didn't catch.
And Gabe Ruiz taking that ball out of the air and finishing with authority to the left side of the net.
Can you
Lund
please
once
describe
again,
that? Can you please describe that goal to me?
Just
Because I
once
missed
again,
it.
Lund beaten by another beautiful low ball struck on, in this case, Ruiz's second touch. Akron will sub.
25 out or so? 25 yards?
Maybe a little bit closer, 23, 24. But it's another astonishing goal as Ruiz has kind of made his trademark here with the Redhawks. And we resume play in the 75th. First of the goal of the year for Gabe Ruiz, to go with 2 assists for him.
Utilizing that wet surface, getting that ball skimming off that surface, and tough for any goalkeeper to handle, no question about it. Even a guy as impressive as Lutz.
Here's Rivas trying to maybe add in another goal that could possibly ice this game. 15 minutes, still a very long time to play against the number 14 team in the nation.
This game lose large for Seattle University, ranked as high as 22 in the preseason. Certainly a tough loss against New Mexico, but this game, you're able to pull this out. Looking for Seattle U to get back into the polls. I think bigger than that, Andrew, is kind of that mental hurdle. You know, you're talking about a big-time national caliber program that has pedigree, and to be able to come in here and play toe-to-toe, that's going to do wonders for a program.
Ani floating this up toward Gibson. Abdi Mohammed. Korb. Back inside, pressure now. Boy, something about the wet surface and how much farther you slide makes all those kind of slightly late challenges look so much worse, doesn't it, Arnie?
There's the Brazilian flair. Gabe Ruiz.
Cody Gibson trying to turn outside. Castellon arriving for a hopeful overlapping run. Gibson, space for a cross, comes inside. Too far for Rivas, cut up by Milanese.
That's the blueprint when you put Gibson in. Get him in behind. Get him into those channels. Good with his left foot, good with his right foot. That's Coach Fewing how the relationship between Hamas Ritchie and he was, and says excellent. You know, Gibson is a guy that he goes all out. He's got one speed, one gear, if you will. And he's not a guy, you know, possibly a little bit more effective playing in spurts like he does.
Through ball here, looking for Egbo. Ayala giving chase. It's toward the byline, and Ani escorts it over for a goal kick. One note back with about 16:20 to go in the second half when Alejandro Mariscal went over to talk to the bench players for the Redhawks. Dante Perez, a freshman goalkeeper out of Hawaii, was issued a yellow card for what we can only assume was dissent. Pete Fewing certainly won't be happy about that. He's not happy about his guys on the field getting carded for dissent, even more so if they're on the bench. Ruiz keeps that ball in space, poked ahead for Gibson. Gibson to his right. Cody Gibson toward goal, poked up by Noblat, and expertly disrupted by Strachan, allowing Lund to pick it up. Redhawks have an 18-3 advantage in shots.
Hard to believe, you know. I mean, I'm always critical of our scorekeepers out here. More interested in the shots on goal than I am on the. But nonetheless, I think a good illustration of the possession, right? And certainly CLU has maintained it's more than its fair share tonight. Probably what's more impressive, I just love the work rate out of Seattle University, the way they track, the way they cover.
Towering header from Castellon is upended Egbo. Ruiz for Rivas.
Rivas, a guy, always be able to slow the game down. What I mean by that is he's able to work himself out of trouble, especially when they need it the most. You know, under pressure, he's able to take touches and work out of trouble, switch the ball, give his teammates a little bit of space to operate.
Uderitz pokes that through. Ruiz gives chase. Son wanted to see if it had the legs to make it to the byline. Wins the goal kick off of Ruiz in any case.
I think Gabe Ruiz also has that ability to be good as well. Rivas is definitely the guy you're counting on.
Through ball cut out as far as Korb. Castellon.
And I got to say that I do not like Egbo one-on-one with anybody. Well done by Ayala and tracking, but like to see a little bit of coverage there.
Ruiz going into space for Noblat. Connor Noblat, options arriving in the box. And cross blocked by the first man.
And we know that one drives a Billy Colello, longtime assistant coach, nuts. Can hear it. I can hear it, you know. Got to get it over the first man, you know. It's elemental and important.
Back for Rivas, toward goal, tipped over by Lund. Well, however this match finishes, you certainly can't fault the play of Ben Lund in goal for the Zips.
Yeah, no doubt. He's been as good of a goalkeeper as I've seen around here. Just, again, eye test, and he's backed that up by ability as well. Made a number of point-blank saves here tonight.
Corner for the Red Hawks from the near side. Nathan Ani goes up. Flicked away from his head by Kassé. Runs out the far side and will be a Red Hawks throw-in. Ani out there. Going to tee this up. Asks a teammate to dry off the ball for him. Heaves it in. Over the head of Uderitz, who committed a foul while the ball was in the air.
Got Uderitz and about 7 Akron players around him, but good battle by Uderitz. Coach Fewing, big-time instinct coach. Definitely feeling that Uderitz is bringing something to the table here tonight. Otherwise, he would have subbed Orlando Neto back in the game.
Ball flipped up by Ayala. Rivas heads into space for Noblat. Going straight ahead. Cody Gibson. He's onside. Lunt comes off. Gibson shoots. It's blocked by Lunt and cleared away by Strachan. He keeps it low and on the ground. Gibson with another chance to put this one away, and Lunt with another sensational stop.
Second one of the night. Thwarting the cross. Rivas the first. Cody Gibson the second. It's tough. I mean, he was out. He was 10 yards out. He cut that angle down as far as he could go, leaving really one option. I think kind of 5-hole, if you will. But good run, good action by Seattle University. Even better goalkeeping in that case.
Hernandez back on for the Zips, as is Braden Petno.
You kind of just hope one of those doesn't come back to haunt you. Had a couple really nice opportunities.
Long floated ball looking for Corb Castrillon underneath it. Gets by both of them and runs into touch for a Red Hawks throw-in.
Seattle University would have been a heck of a lot more comfortable with that insurance goal there. Really been very effective in the second half, springing those kind of narrow channels.
Micheleto going through on the ground, away from Petno, who upends Avila Good and commits the foul.
Avila Good, the favorite of our Montana contingent. We got Kevin Houck, Shane McCorkle, Jeremy Brown. Missoula guys watching, saying that's some sort of tiki bar, maybe streaming.
Hey, listen, if you can get the guys at the bar to put the game on the TV, that's a good bar to be in.
They love Avila Good.
Corb, head for Mohammed. Toward Petno, cut out by Castrillon. But boy, Abdi Mohammed has been everywhere at midfield tonight for the Zips.
Yeah, no doubt. A lot of pace. Extremely dangerous.
84th minute now. Paul Hernandez going ahead for Kassé.
You just have this feeling that Akron is not going to go quietly here tonight.
Overa tried to poke a through ball there. Ayala knocks it away. Rivas coming near side for Ruiz. A lot of space in transition. Ruiz cuts it forward to Gibson. He's held up by Strachan. And Gibson looses out to Overa. Uderitz wanted to play off. I was going to say Petno, but that's Joe Korb.
Uderitz sizing up that tackle. Crafty veteran out of Akron. Akron's number 17 to lay off.
Egbo and Ani doing battle one more time. This one going to the byline. And cut out above the corner flag. Throw in, Nathan Ani. Slow to get up. Referee stopping the clock here.
More to the right, more to the right. There we go.
That's not good, waving him on immediately. Nathan Ani, preseason All-American. Many project him to be a high draft pick in the MLS.
Really.
On the flip side, as we wish Nathan Ani well, Acton Petronotis came in Friday night, and big solid defender. Coach Fewing talked about Petronotis being a welcome addition to the team. Puts them in that scenario where they have 3 potential center backs that they can leverage when they need it the most.
Ani's been rolled onto his back here. Got the training staff out there talking to him. Clock is stopped in the 85th. 5:15 to go with the Red Hawks leading 2-1. And it is Alex Acton Petronotis that is warming up on the far sideline. And boy, Arnie, if you're a center back, what a tall order to come in and defend a 1-goal lead with 5 minutes left against the number 14 team in the nation.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The good news is he's got a little bit of experience now. At least he's got a game under his belt. We know he's got the size, and there's going to be some balls whipped into the mix, if you will, and let's hope for the best out of Ani. But I mean, they're tending to him closely. I don't know if you could see anything with those binoculars, but he was clearly in some pain.
Acton Petronotis, no shrimp himself, 6'2", 175, the sophomore out of College Station, Texas, who looks for all purposes that he will be checking in here for Nathan Ani.
So they're checking his neck. A bit scary there. It just seemed like a fair challenge there. You know, it was 2 guys going hard for the ball, and looked like he just landed awkwardly.
I'm certainly glad to see Ani back up on his feet. Gets a couple handshakes from the Akron players as he'll walk off the field here under his own power.
He's kind of holding that arm gingerly a little bit, possibly a rib. I believe the re-entry rules would allow Ani to come back on if he checks out here.
So it is a throw-in for the Zips, which will restart the clock, sitting at 5:15.
Akron looking for the long throw and the flick in. I'd like to see a front on the big boy, which we got.
Head away from Nicoletto. Paul Hernandez tries to turn, go back inside. Here's Cassay floating it in, and Josh Adachi grabs it off his line.
Talked about Adachi being a key to the game early in the broadcast. Hadn't had a whole lot of work tonight. But there's no doubt he's going to be challenged here in the next 5 minutes.
Well, sometimes that's the toughest thing about goalkeeping. Sometimes you only need to make 1 save, but you'd better make it.
Look for Akron right now to pump that ball forward. A lot more direct. Look for Seattle University to drop more numbers behind.
Hackworth, far side Hernandez. Cassay. One back by the Red Hawks, Cassay. Castrillon floats it away.
The question is Seattle U content to kind of draw these tight lines?
Falls for Rivas. Gibson pondering a run. Ruiz getting the better of his men. And boy, draws a free kick there that is pretty generously given. We had a pretty good look at that, and there didn't seem to be much in that challenge.
Yep, you know, I was been critical on the Akron guys, but that one there, it was, I don't think he was touched.
From my perspective, I did not see any contact. I will certainly say that.
Yeah, Ruiz, native of Brazil. By way of Houston.
Falls for Rivas. And comes through.
It's a home game, though. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
One thing I can say is, despite our perspective on it, from the reaction of the player whom the foul was called against, if there had been no contact, you'd think he might have been a little bit more energized.
Yeah, drives, I know, kind of people that don't understand the game of soccer, they don't understand that whole diving. I've given up trying to, make non-soccer fans, understand. But, part of the theater of the game, I think. And it's not like it doesn't happen in other sports as well.
Fair points, both. 2:38 to go. Clock still moving. Avila good. Hoofs that upfield. Cody Gibson nearly goes up and wins the header.
You're in this time right now. You're in kill the clock mode. So anything you see out of Seattle U is going to be driven into the corner. Try to hold that ball up.
Advantage played. Hernandez wants that big ball up top. Egbo is there. That one falls by him. Mohammed loses his footing. Still hitting to space. Kasey gets to that ball. Still on it is Kasey. Tied up with a couple Red Hawks players. Avila good clears it downfield. Bodies all over the pitch at Championship Field. It's a bloodbath out there. Kasey tied up with two Red Hawks once more.
I got to say, though, you appreciate the effort out of the Red Hawks. They're defending like their life depends on it right now.
And that one hammered wide for a Red Hawks throw-in.
This clock situation in college soccer is always interesting to me. In some ways, I think it makes the game a little bit more dramatic.
Mikoski throws in with 1:25 on the clock.
I would like to see a much longer throw.
Turned by Petno, pushed wide for Hernandez, and lost wide for another throw-in.
To me, that's a huge miss there. He throw it into a kind of a short posting up player. The only thing bad that can happen is get beat to the ball, and that's what happened. I'd rather throw that ball as far as you can possibly throw it.
Mariscal, encouraging play to continue. And clock called to a stop here. 53 seconds on the clock, and Alex Acton Petronotis, right as he was about to throw the ball, I mean, he was in his windup, booked for time wasting here in the 90th minute.
It's fine. You'll take that. Best you can hope for here. Long throw, a little flick on. Certainly a tall order here. Seattle University looking to be organized in the back.
Under a minute to go. Time is running short for the Zips.
That could be a red.
Looks like it'll just be a yellow. Olvera cleaned out there by Cody Gibson. Clock stopped with 35. They're waiting for the trainers for Olvera.
If you were to show a replay of that, that would not have been pretty. So maybe don't do that.
Take a look at it here. It's coming near side. Gibson, you can see what he was thinking when he took off for the ball. Olvera just cut right in front of him. So he'll go off. Clock moved back to 41 seconds and is stopped. And a yellow card for Cody Gibson.
Very, very fortunate not to be red carded there. Kind of late, cleats up, but certainly you can see Cody Gibson's thinking, trying to slow that game down, do everything he can to prevent another offensive possibility for Akron.
Declan Waters, a 6'5" defender, checking in now. It's pure Route 1 soccer. 41 seconds on the clock.
Looking for Adachi to be quick off his line if there's anything even remotely floated.
Lund taking another 5 yards to the chagrin of the home crowd, and now they've gotten the attention of the referee Alejandro Mariscal, will be forced to move it back. And now they're going to force him to back it up even further. And the crowd's loving it. They're still not satisfied. Late drama. Ball in from Lunt. 40 seconds left. A long hit ball. Adachi grabs it out of the air.
You know, that's about as perfect as a ball as you could play in there. Perfectly weighted. Well done by Adachi.
Adachi lets fly with 25 seconds left. That ball has 7 seconds of hang time. Gibson gives chase. Lunt immediately sends it back. 15 seconds now. Header from McCoskey. Connor Noblat just going to blast it downfield. 11 seconds left. Very generous throw and taken. 6 seconds left. Acton Petronotis plays it into touch. And the Seattle University Redhawks, on the back of a beautiful goal from Gabe Ruiz in the 75th minute, have knocked off the number 14 team in the nation, Akron, at home in Seattle.
Big-time redemption game from Seattle U, getting knocked out by Akron in the second round. I think that builds so much confidence to go head-to-head, toe-to-toe with a national caliber program, and